Hi guys. So a little bit different video today. If you're not really into current events, you may want to just click off and wait for the next reaction video. I'm going to talk a little bit about the controversy over the movie Sound of Freedom, which, if you don't know, it's a movie that highlights the child sex trafficking issue. And I'm going to be honest, first off, I have not seen this movie. I don't know if I can watch it without kind of losing it. If I do, I'll probably watch it at home so I can process it without others around and I can pause it if I need to. But what first got my attention about this movie is that I began hearing a lot of controversy about it. You know, one side slinging hash at the other side, and then vice versa. So I was like, what the heck is going on? So, I hunted down the trailer. I watched it and I was like, okay, yeah, it looks like another drama action film. And then even friends on my personal Facebook were going, oh my gosh, it beat Indiana Jones. It beat Indiana Jones. And my first thought was, well, it's Indiana Jones 5. So as much as I did love the first movie and I did like the second movie and then we just kind of got into money grabs, but we're not here to review that. So I thought, yeah, it could be conceivable that it beat Indiana 5. But other people were saying it didn't. So I looked into that and I mean, I found that this was the most likely scenario. There were more involved than just, what people were saying about ticket sales. It was also released on a Tuesday, which isn't a normal movie release date, but it was July 4th. So that kind of goes along with the title. So I think it was kind of a decent marketing move. Now, from what I understand, this film was actually finished about 5 years ago, and Disney had the rights to it. And they decided to shelve it because they didn't want a film that portrayed children being harmed associated with them. Let that sink in for a minute. Eventually, Angel Studios bought the rights and ran with it. So I went to look at the reviews because I honestly just don't understand the controversy over this movie. So this one, Sound of Freedom, is a superhero movie for dads with brain worms. Now, I know reviews are basically personal opinion, but name calling, kind of, or insulting, I should say, well, I guess it is name calling as well. Um, that just kind of surprised me. And I started looking at all these reviews and they're all similar. They're all similar to this. And some of the actual commenters on these articles were just ridiculous. I swear I lost brain cells reading their comments. I also discovered that this movie isn't listed on Metacritic, which is really unusual because they usually list every movie released except, those really obscure ones that nobody ever hears about. Um, so this was Yahoo, and and then here's the Robert Ebert's website. I can speak, really, I can. It got it gave it 2 stars. The writer gave it 2 stars, and he ripped it apart. I was trying to get the whole thing in here, but you can go to Ebert's website and read it. I was like, what the heck is going on? Because that was just kind of weird. And I have lost the other one. Nope, there it is. So now this is The Guardian. And it says Sound of Freedom, the QAnon adjacent thriller seducing America. Now, I don't actually know what QAnon is. I did learn, which I'll share in a bit. But it's, it calls it a hero trying to stop child traffickers in a paranoid new movie, turning into a surprise box office hit. What is paranoid about child traffickers? They exist. We know they exist. So one the comments, okay. So I literally lost brain cells over this. It's just ridiculous. So here's one comment. LMAO, this is why the movie is dangerous because it validates crazies like yourself. Get a life, read a book, try focusing on real issues we face every day and not fairy tales. That comment just kind of blew me away. I was like, fairy tales? What? And then we had one that said, um, the movie is trash being sold to far right QAnon, there's that word again, crazies who continue to fall for the right's dirty tricks. They're so good at taking money out of poor people's wallets and putting it into their own. Okay, well, that applies to both sides of the coin. Thank you very much. But I mean, crazies? It's like a lot of the comments, not all of them, but a lot of the comments were kind of like they refuse to believe that this is actually a serious issue. One comment that I don't know where it went, but I can read it. Because I have it written down. The movie is dangerous. It validates people who believe in absolute insanity and who act on that with violence. The last thing we need are vigilantes going around rescuing kids from pizza parlors. Now that pizza parlor is a reference to Pizzagate. You can go look that up. What do you mean? It validates people who believe in absolute insanity. Child trafficking is not insanity. It's real, it exists. I mean, every single state in our country has had this problem. I mean, and it's well known that, when certain sports big competitions come around each year, that child predators are out in force. Not saying all sports fans are child predators before anybody has a breakdown. It's just their prime opportunity to set up business. Now, others had made comments about how child trafficking doesn't have as high as numbers as some other people were saying. I mean, I'm so fired up over this that I can't even talk correctly if you haven't noticed. So my thought to that, high numbers, the numbers aren't as high as people are saying. Who cares? One child is one child too many. These people are sick. I can't believe people are arguing over numbers and ignoring the actual issue. It makes my head hurt. So I wanted to know the numbers, so I had actual facts and I went after them. And I had to go to, I think this is the international, oh bother, I knew I should have wrote it down. The international, so global estimates of modern slavery, forced labor, and forced marriage. This is from Geneva in 2022, and it gives you all of the numbers for all of forms of forced labor and slavery. But doing the math, you guys have the numbers there. You can do the math yourself as well. I figured out that it was about 1.5 million children. 1.5 million. That is an awful number. It's a terrible number. I honestly, I didn't expect it to be that high of a number. I knew the number was going to be high. I just didn't think it was going to be that high. And these people are like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. So I went back to look at what QAnon is because I don't know. And I found this website where I'll let you read that because that's just kind of crazy for me that that is yeah, it's just like a really extreme level of beliefs. Now, I kept looking into it though, and it actually led me to this little thing. Of course, it's not gonna cooperate with me. I've been having this issue with this. I'm like my third time recording this, and at this point, I just want it done because the more I deal with it, the angrier I get. So this book, it's called Q by Luther Blissett or Blisse. It's an Italian book that was written by the people listed here, and they were leftists, and the whole thing wouldn't fit. So I'm gonna do this. Now, it was a name adopted in the 90s by leftists, anarchists, and general troublemakers in Italy. Now, these writers, the authors of this book, told BuzzFeed News that the project was a network of activists, artists, and cultural agitators who all share this name. Now they're operating under a different name, but they also pointed out farther into the article that everything the person who started this, everything they wrote, followed this book. And that makes people think that the person named Q, who wrote it anonymously, hence the name QAnon, it was a 4chan thread that was going on. And they think that it was put out as a troll post, just like the flat earth comment was put out as a troll post, and people took it and ran with it. And now both of them have become an actual movement. But let me go back to these these lovely reviews, and I use the term loosely. Almost every one of these websites can be considered woke or left media. I really wasn't finding name calling and such a vitriol that I was finding on these mainstream websites. I wasn't finding that on the more either conservative or even more independent websites were not acting like this. I mean, they're using this QAnon, which I noticed came up a lot in the comments with name calling, insults, brainworms. Now, these are obviously not the result of unbiased reviews. They've completely ignored the plot of the movie and went straight into a direct attack against the people who are involved. So now at this point, I'm confused because this doesn't make sense. My head is killing me, and I honestly lost a lot of brain cells reading some of the comments. So, what is so horrible about this movie? I could not figure it out. So I went to the mother of all movie review sites. I went to Rotten Tomatoes. And imagine my surprise that this movie has a 74% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and 100% audience rating. That's completely the opposite of every single review that I was reading. So then I went and searched for real people who had watched the movie. Not movie reviewers, not media, and that was a little harder. I did end up watching a few YouTube videos, and I found that people on both sides of the aisle who watched the movie thought it was a really good movie about an important topic, and that people are just turning it into a political thing because isn't that what they always do with everything that goes against the narrative? They turn it into a weapon. They politicize it, they weaponize it. So I want to hear from you guys. If anyone has seen this movie, why all the hate? What do you think all of this is about? Do you think it is just political? Do you think that either side has, some leg to stand on? Have you guys seen the movie? What was your opinion? If you haven't seen the movie, are you going to go see it? Let me know what you guys think about all this. I'm probably going to watch it when it comes out and I can watch it at home. Just as I said, the subject matter, I'm a little sensitive about that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this. Love you all. Have a great day.